Good afternoon. Um, why I need why I need to be wrong. Uh, why do I need I feel a little unsettled today. Partly because many of the things that I've been speaking about are coming to pass. I mean, they have been doing anyway, but it feels as though we're coming to a climax. Like that makes me laugh. We're coming to recently, these last few days, over the last 7 days, literally, yes, it's the last 7 days, 3 times. And I think I might have mentioned this in the previous post, maybe the one before this actually. The kind of do as you're told, follow the white man's rule. Follow the white man's rule. Do what the white man tells you. And it's ringing in my ears, it's resonating in my body. It's not resonating, it's dissonant, but I can still hear it. I can hear it and I can see that as a bit of a process, I suppose, because I'm feeling it and seeing it as something that is occurring in others. And what I mean by that, it's almost like there's this pretense that's nothing. It's cool. Everything's cool. Everything's dandy. And but there are some fundamentals that are occurring, if that makes sense. The BRICS conference finished yesterday, and I think today there'll be, what do you do? I mean, there's last minute. So there's an official face to these conferences or these gatherings then, and then there's the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So they will meet, the official bit was Tuesday to Thursday, they announced quite a lot. BRICS Pay, as an example, was announced, which is a mechanism that is based, what's it based upon? It's based upon a new financial structure called the QFS. Again, you can Google it, you can whatever to do. People have been talking about this for years, the QFS system, and it's been functioning, it's been being tested out, being rolled out, if you like, these last few. I'm going to say definitely these last few months, in a sort of real and kind of upfront way, and it's a system that is meant to do many things, but one of them is to replace the SWIFT system, which is the system that the banks use now to transfer money internationally, digitally, internationally. The SWIFT system allows for trading on the stock market and things like that, crypto and all these kinds of things. I don't really get it, but I'm getting some of the principles. But that's being done away with because it allows for, there's too much room for corruption, and it's being used for corrupt activities, nefarious activities, moving literally dirty, filthy money, disguising where you could have all this offshore banking. It's all connected to that. Anyway, but all that's been done away with. The QFS system is meant to be more secure, faster. It means quantum financial system, so it's based upon quantum whatever technology. So and BRICS launching the, I forgot what it's called, BRICS Pay or whatever it is, the app anyway, allows countries to trade asset-backed token. I don't know how, I can't remember right now, but it allows for the BRICS nations to be able to operate quickly, swiftly, without any third-party interference, or having to pay taxes on the transfer. But it's also an equal, a level playing field in terms of you can spend whatever it is that you spend, say £1 in the UK. If you spend that £1, you get its equivalency in yuan or yen. So it doesn't lose its value, it doesn't gain any value. And also the payments that you can make are direct payments, doing away with the need for banks, which is one of the other GESARA and NESARA laws, is to do away with banks, corrupt banks in particular, in financial systems, as well as, anyway. So that's another reason why some need me to be wrong, because the moving away from the SWIFT system to a the QFS system means that, and because it's asset-backed too, asset and commodity-backed, those transactions, they are backed by something which is not the case for the dollar, which is the reserve currency for the world at the moment. Oh, it has been, and it was backed by the Saudi oil, and Saudis are part of BRICS. So that's not happening anymore. So the impact of that is that these countries, I could have bought a picture actually. Yes, being asset backed, and they're trading amongst themselves, and they're happy to trade with the West, but the West has got to show that it's got assets to back its currency, rather than what's been happening is that the dollar and any currencies pegged to the dollar have been backed by fresh air. They've been printing loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of money and given to themselves, and getting us to work for them, generating, and at the same time they're taking the money that we earn, that they give us, and they take it back. And at the same time they take away rights and property and land, which has the effect of leaving us impoverished. And to us, I'm talking about the general population. I'm talking about 99.9% of the planet, and there's just 1% wants all the shit, and they've organized it in such a way that that's what happens. They get all the money. It's their system. They've set up all the banking system. They've set up the insurance institutions and the governments that help to facilitate the movement of money between the people and the 1%. Very, very clever. Well, it's clever what it is, how they've used have usurped, if you will, the mechanisms and the systems and the processes, they've corrupted them. And one of the way, as well as enabling us to forget about them. Yes, there are some traditional, traditional cultural cultures that operate in a more egalitarian, if you will, or much more natural, based upon common law way of living. So, and that's what we're returning to. That's what GESARA and GESARA law is all about. So why do I need to be wrong? I suppose because I've been talking about these things, and it starts to unfold and appear and emerge right in front of my eyes at the very least. And I think people can get a sense of it, that the people that don't want any change, because it means a transfer of power, I think people are going to resist. And it's the resistance. I think people are quite violent about it. I hope I'm wrong. I'd like to believe I'm wrong. But it's major. It's a major change that is happening. Yes, I can envision how UNDRIP will manifest. Yes, I can. It's happening. It has to happen. Why do I need to be wrong? Because I'm not interested in seeing people unnecessarily create suffering for themselves or for others. Not interested at all. There's been enough, and that was unnecessary. This is not a time for ego. This is not a time for wishing that, or desiring even, for the world to be run the way that you imagine it to be run. That I, as an individual, can go away and just go off and do my own thing. You can go off and do your own thing. But there are laws, not rules, laws, natural laws, that when we don't abide by them, it means that there is disorder. This is what we're living. Not only disorder that brings about harm, injury, and loss. And as that becomes more apparent about who's being involved in creating, up to this very moment, up to the last moment, harm, injury, and loss, it still continues. And I can't help feeling that when people talk about military is the only way, that's what I wanted to post. I wanted to show, but the picture's not come up. There's an article about helicopters, military helicopters being seen flying north, and around the area that I live, and the Shire. The Shire, bless him. Tolkien, I think he was onto something, There's loads of them around it. Anyway, the Shire where I live, helicopters, military helicopters, I think they're called Chinooks, the double ones. I haven't personally seen any of those, but I have seen single whatever helicopters bombing around the place these last few months, actually, at least one a day. And one actually landed on a playing field out the back there. Quite odd, I have to say. That was a bright yellow one. I don't live nearby the sea, so I am saying there was no, I don't believe there was an incident of any kind because there was no other vehicles around. But later on there were. Anyway, that's another story for another time. So these are indicators to me that, because it mirrors what's been going on elsewhere around the globe, particularly in the States. You know, they've had similar activity taking place for quite some time. You know, the military upon the land. And I remember saying to a couple of enforcement officers, belligerent occupiers, are saying military's coming for your ass. And that would be back in November, with nearly a year. And they were giggling their arse off. One of them was actually taking it very serious and checked out with his boss man. Short, little, dumpy, arrogant. I've got pictures of them. I'll post them at some point, so that you know the military know who to get, because they're coming for these people. I think I can mention some of them now, actually, if they're not been swept up already. So it's not just about, you know, politicians and celebrities. You know, we're talking about civil leaders being scooped up, leaders of industry. You know, those heads of departments, they have to be dealt with, and will be dealt with under military law. You know, police officers, chiefs of police. You know, it's not me. It's not my fault. It's not nothing to do with me. I'm trying to tell people that this is the kind of thing that's going to be happening for at least a year. People thought I was talking out the top of my head, or at the top of my head. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I need to be wrong, and also why some need me to be wrong, because they have a phrase, miss something me by implying, one, that I'm a terrorist, knowing full well that it is you, out of the mouths of the people that are wondering whether or not I am involved in. It turns out that you're the terrorist. You know, terrorist and ist, you know, you take it from the word terror. They who inflict terror on people. What we've endured over the last 3 years, particularly the first 18 months of it, is terror. It's all been terror. And fear, instilling fear in people with full thought and knowledge. So why I need to be wrong is because in many ways, I don't want to see it. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to have to witness I just don't want to see it. I don't know what it's going to look like, to be quite honest. But if the military are coming for your ass, that means that your own laws, and the reason why the military are to come for people, and they will be dealt with under military law, or they will receive military justice, because the military is there to get involved, because these public officers and these public offices and the agents that work in these public offices, public agents, these politicians, all the people that have been were supposed to be offering service to the people have become so corrupt that they were defrauding the people at best and trafficking them at worst. Okay? Not worst, in the middle, and murdering them at the other side. Yeah? 4 pieces of silver. Now, that's why the military's got to get involved, because that's a violation of natural law. It's a violation of common law. It's a violation of the Constitution. It's a breach of oath of office. It's when the state is committing tyranny upon the land. And the people have to rise up. Some of the people are involved in this and been pretending that they don't know anything about it. That's why I think I'd like to be wrong. I don't need to be wrong. I don't need to be anything. I'm disappointed and I am disgusted. I am appalled. I am shocked. I kind of knew, but I didn't want to believe it. That's my cognitive dissonance. I've been watching and observing people take their piss for far too long, far too long. So some need me to be wrong because, and I'm the sweet face. I've got a sweet attitude, actually, towards change and transition. I'm all right with it. I mean, I'm a big believer in justice. I'm not saying I'm the one to be dispensing justice, and I'm glad the military are doing what it is that they need to do to protect us all, but really, and more importantly, to protect the children. They're the next generation, and that's why I need to be wrong, because I don't want that to be true at all. But I know it is. I know it is. Till the next time, may your ERP and your spirituality, I'm not smiling at that, I'm smiling at the tune, it's beautiful, remain strong. Till the next time.